I'll call the meeting of Monday, the 13th of July, 2020 to order and open it up for Commissioners Forum. If anyone's here and has anything to say or add to the meeting, now would be the time. Hearing none, I'd move right on to minutes and abatements and warrants. Paul, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of June 22nd, 2020.
I second.
Second for discussion. Hearing any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Cantwell, aye.
Aye.
Jack, aye.
Mr. Chair, in order to aid the calling of the roll call vote, if you just want to say roll call vote and then say each individual's last name and then they can vote, that would be easier for Sue to track.
That would be great. Would you be willing to just read everyone's last name and they can say aye afterwards, Peter?
Oh, you bet. I can do that.
Perfect. I'll Jennings aye for the last motion, and that's unanimous.
Okay.
So moving forward after this, if you can just at the end of the motion, just read that after all discussion, and then we'll just when we hear our name, we'll just say aye.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following warrants. First, we have Beta from Buffinville from May 2nd to May 29th, $27,127.41. WB Mason for office supplies, $17.06. Veolia for May emergency services, 210 Sunset Ave, $214.45. Again, Veolia for April emergency services, 159 Sunset, $536.13. Again, Veolia for April 5th, for 5 East and 6 West testing, $184. And Veolia for May for 5 East and 6 West testing, $184. Veolia for I&I approval, approved November 19th, $15,371.29. Veolia for June monthly services, $40,850.32. Where are we here? Bigelow Electric for generator maintenance, $1,885. LaFord Electric for 19 Sunset, $170. For LaFord Electric for 57 Lakeview and 39 Hollywood, $1,190. WD Matthews for Fog Truck Maintenance, $184.87. Town of Charlton Board of Selectmen Electricity for April and May 2020, $14,513.63. Next, we have Town of Southbridge, DPW, for reimbursement of Town of Southbridge for repairs on Route 20, $2,303.13. Impact Fire for annual maintenance of the fire extinguishers, $512.80. Mark Abrams, water rate study, $1,900. LaFleur Electric, EQ tank motor, $513.65. Again, LaFleur Electric, the sludge pump repair, $511.07. Again, LaFleur Electric for EQ pump 2A, $719.11. LaFleur Electric for EQ pump 2A again, $256.83. And LaFleur Electric for North Sturbridge Road Pump Station, $1,276.11. Slim Zamberthium for North Sturbridge Road Pump Station, $450. LaFort Electric, 45 Lakeview, $595. And the commissioner salaries, $400. LaFort Electric again for 86 Glen Echo Shore Road, $595. And WB Mason for office supplies, $6.57 for a grand total of $112,467.43.
Thank you, Paul. Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Peter, if I could, just for the new members, can you explain two things? One, Buffin for the $27,127, and then the I November 19 for the $15,000. Just
Sure.
give us a quick run over, very brief, just
So
to
the
for the
Beta
new members.
Buffinville is being covered by the Water Master Plan grant from the DEP. So that those funds are coming from the state and we get reimbursed for those on a monthly basis. Beta is currently preparing the site plan to present the planning board for the public water supply well field on the property we own down near Buffinville. I'm hoping to have some preliminary plans ready for you to review for your next meeting and have a discussion with Beta at our next meeting. They're also looking at doing conceptual design plans on how to get the water from Buffinville up to our current infrastructure near the schools. As far as the I study with Veolia, that's some annual work that we do for inflow and infiltration in the sewer mains, just to try and identify where we might be having some unaccounted for water entering the sewer system throughout the collection system. And we hire Veolia annually to do some work there and try and identify and narrow down where that's coming from.
Peter, just for clarification, that Beta 27,000, that's part of the grant, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Peter, for the explanation on those.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
All right, Ridlack. Donahue.
Yes, A.
Gagner.
Aye.
Cantwell.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Jack, are you on still?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, well, Ridlack, you have to vote for that last motion?
Aye.
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 Unanimous, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Moving forward, Paul, senior abatements.
There's a big list of them. I don't have any totals or anything else.
Okay.
But there are
You don't have-
apparently 34 senior abatements for the fiscal
All
year
right, would someone like
21.
Make a motion to accept the senior abatements as printed.
I second.
If
Those
someone
are-
could make that motion.
That's for the new year. Those are the people that reapplied for the upcoming year.
Okay.
There's a possibility that not all would be accepted.
No, they all met the requirements,
Okay.
but that's just the list of the addresses of the people that reapplied, met the qualifications, and going forward, they'll receive the senior abatement.
Very good.
So we just
So
need,
Is this number up a lot? Is this number up a lot from last year? I don't remember seeing a list this long.
no, there was like 33 or 34 last year.
Okay.
If someone would like to make the motion,
Oh, I thought I made them, somebody made the motion to accept all the abatements as printed, 34 of them.
I'll accept that motion. Would someone like to second that motion?
Yeah, well, second.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Ridlack.
Aye.
Donahue.
Aye.
Gagner.
Aye.
Cantwell.
Aye.
And Jennings.
Aye. Unanimous. Peter, what do you have on the grinder pumps for us?
Typically we have been reordering grinder pump parts, replacement and upgraded control panels every 6 months or so. And, Sue, myself, and Vinny have gone through what we have for inventory and created a list of part numbers and items that we want to keep in stock with a recommended quantity, and in front of you, you'll see the item description, part number, and quantity that we'd like to order to get our inventory back up to where it needs to be. I think it was last week or maybe a week and a half ago, we did order 3 of the intrinsically safe retrofit panels, just because we were down to 0. Those are one of the higher expense items. So we have 3 of those coming. You'll see a separate invoice for. The prices we have here are estimates. Hopefully it's within probably 5% of what Franklin Electric is going to charge us. We did ask for a formal quote for this list that we want to order, but we haven't received it as of yet at the time of the meeting. So again, what we'd like to do is try and keep 8 grinder pumps, 8 of the standoffs, the connection wall assemblies, and 8 of the control panels. And that way there, if any of those pieces go down at someone's house, it's here to replace them. And because there's such a lead time to get the parts in, 8 seems to be a good number, and maybe come to you sooner than every 6 months to reorder parts.
So roughly $18,800 is what you're estimating, but because of the potential swing of 5%, do you need a motion in the amount of not to exceed 20,000 for the following items?
I think that would be helpful. Yes. But
okay.
To be safe and sorry.
All right. So if someone would like to make the motion according to that, then that would be great.
Make a motion to approve to approve up to $20,000 for pump parts.
Johnny, you second.
Do we have a second? Any further discussion?
Who was the second from?
Bill.
Bill?
Okay. Great. Roll call.
Hearing roll call vote.
Ridlack.
Aye.
Donahue.
Aye.
Gagner.
Aye.
Cantwell.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Great.
Very good. Moving on, tree work at the plant.
Yeah, so one of the main electric poles down at the entrance to the treatment plant near the gate is overgrown with vines, and Vinny has expressed concerns that the vines are thick enough that we might have an electrical arc problem from wire to wire. We also, the fence around the treatment plant has quite a bit of overgrowth and tree saplings that are turning into more than saplings and either leaning up against the fence or growing over the fence. Advantage Enterprises has a contract with the highway department. They've solicited bids and were awarded the agreement from the highway department to do the tree work for the town. Under that agreement, we can get a 3-person crew here for $2,800 for the day. They can take the vines off of the telephone pole and work their way around the fence and clear any trees that are problematic. The price to do just the vine work on the telephone pole or the utility pole is approximately $700 or $800. So I'd recommend that we do get a 3-member crew here for a day at the rate of $2,800 and have them do as much as they can around the property and clean some stuff up before we have to start replacing fence, which would be much more expensive.
So you need a motion approving such.
Yes, please. Just so when you see it on the invoice, we can reference that it was approved and it won't be any questions.
Sure. Would someone like to make a motion reflecting $2,800 a day for the day rate to Advantage Enterprises for tree work at the plant?
Just one question. So that is on the town's property, correct? It's not anything that National Grid has any responsibility for.
The speaker on my computer is not great, Phil, but were you asking if National Grid would be responsible to do this work?
Yes, whether it's on our property or on the town's property or...
Yeah, I believe because it's on private property, they don't come up this far. It's on our private driveway, far enough off the road. It's our responsibility.
Okay, thank you. So secondly, the motion?
Yeah, if someone would like to make the motion.
I'd like to make the motion to accept up to $2,800 for one-day labor from Advantage for tree work and fence work around the treatment plant.
We have a second on that motion.
I'll second.
Cantwell second.
Yeah.
Any further?
One more thing, Peter, are you anticipating just one day's worth of work, or do they feel that it'd be more than one day in work?
I believe one day would be adequate to get in there, focus on getting that utility pole cleaned up, and then whatever time they have left, they can work their way around the fence. If there's still some larger things that need to be done after that, get another proposal to go forward for a second day if necessary.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm just wondering if they might want to chemically treat the area to bring some of those lines so we don't see them again at the same time.
I think once they do the heavy tree work, we can talk to the guys at Veolia, the operators, and see if they can go around and do that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call a roll call vote.
Ridlack,
Aye.
Donahue,
Aye.
Gagner,
Abstain?
Cantwell,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Great.
Motion passes. Moving on. Sewer moratorium.
Yeah, so the sewer moratorium that was approved on July 23rd, 2018 is set to expire on August 3rd, 2020. The intent of the moratorium is to prevent a large user that abuts the sewer line from making a connection and using the remaining capacity at the treatment plant. The moratorium gives you, the commission, the discretion to allow larger connections on a case-by-case request. If you wish to extend the moratorium for another 2 years, the motion is in front of you.
Like to have someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue the moratorium for 2 more years.
And I'll second that motion, Donahue, motion, sorry.
Mr. Chair, because this is a formal moratorium with maybe legal repercussions, I believe the motion has to be verbatim to what's written to truly give you the authority to do that.
Okay. If Paul, if you could read the language as printed.
I move to extend the moratorium to August 3rd, 2022, subject to the fact that it can be modified by the commission within these 2 years. The purpose of this motion is to orderly and fairly allocate the prescribed capacity in the following manner and amounts. The capacity is 100,000 gallons per day for everything. Of residential like sewage, 50,000 gallons a day to be reserved for residential use. Those residents within the current sewer area, and 50,000 gallons a day to be reserved for commercial and industrial growth. To qualify for the commercial industrial availability of 50,000 gallons a day, no one applicant will be allowed to request more than 10,000 gallons a day of capacity without approval by the commission. Residential, commercial, and industrial application not within the service area can be reviewed by the commission. The commission has the right to review and modify this moratorium at any time. The motion shall remain in effect until August 3rd, 2022, or when the capacity is reached, if sooner.
Do we have a second for discussion?
Second, Donahue.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, call a roll call vote.
Ridlack,
Aye.
Donahue,
Aye.
Gagner,
Aye.
Cantwell,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Great.
All right, next we have the budget for the Zinc pilot study.
Yeah, so your last meeting, you approved Veolia to perform the Zinc pilot study. that will hopefully get us into compliance with our NIPD's permit. John Oley has provided the attached estimate for the study. And the proposed cost is $5,584.18. I ask that you approve this cost, and that way there we have this estimate from John, so it shouldn't be any more than that.
Can we have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve as written.
Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so I just want to know, Peter, last time they gave us a quote to do a study, I think they quoted around 6,000, and I think they billed us like 12,000.
Yes.
Is there a way to make sure that doesn't happen this time? I don't want to set a certain number, but you know, when we get to 6,000, can you let us know? Or 7,000, let us know, because it was, like I said, it was double last time.
Right. And that's why I asked John for this price, and I'm asking you to authorize it so everyone's on the same page that this is the final amount, and it shouldn't be any more than this.
My understanding.
Okay.
I think last time their initial pilot study started with one type of the pack, Epic 57, and then they moved to a different type of the pack, and it maybe grew a little bit more than what they had planned. I think this time it's set for the next 4 to 6 weeks. They've already started changing over from ferret today. This is the cost from John, so it shouldn't be any more than that. We shouldn't have that same problem again.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Ridlock,
Aye.
Donahue,
Aye.
Gagner,
Aye.
Cantwell,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye. All right. We have for Waterline construction updates, Peter.
So Albanese Brothers is continuing to pave in the school loop area. Mugget Hill Road is pretty much completely based. Old Mugget Hill Road, the school area, and Morton Station are all topped. Their next step, they're going to move on to L. Stevens Road and Old Worcester Road, and just continue that process. As far as the pump stations go, the O&M manuals have been approved for the Overlook and Bay Path pump stations. Kleinfelder is in the process of scheduling training for employees at both locations, as they will be the ones operating these pump stations. And we're hoping that the Overlook pump station will be activated soon. The Overlook pump station manufacturer will be on site, I believe, next week to flow some water through the pump station and do some true startup and pumping of water. And again, hopefully that pump station is active relatively soon. Kleinfelder and ExxonMobil are still in the process of finalizing the service contract with Albanese Brothers. Once that's done and the Overlook pump station is active, they will start installing the service lines and connecting homes to the new water line. And as far as the Casella water line loop goes, they are in the process of just decommissioning the wells as their final last step. That's all we have going on.
All right. So on the Albanese Brothers school loop, Peter, one of the main concerns of our previous chairman, Rob, was about the excess material that was left over and how it was property of the town of Charlton.
Yes.
Now, what is the scoop with the excess material that is at their processing yard?
My understanding right now is that all of that material has been being used for this project. They are processing the material. They are using it to do the road edges and back up all the new pavement and berm. There's still a pile there. There's still a pile of material left to be screened and processed. I know Chris McClure sent an email over to Kleinfelder asking that same question, as well as what's going on with the grindings, and I'm waiting to hear what they have for a response. But to my knowledge, that material has not been going off site.
Okay.
If there's other information, let me know. But again, we're waiting for, I'm waiting for the response from Kleinfelder for that same question. But again, as far as I know, that material is there. I talked to Matt Magliozzi from Albanese last week, asking him that same question. And he again said everything is staying on site. He said some of the material that they've processed, they might keep there and use for the service lateral contract.
Well, and I guess that's where there would be a question in my mind is, so what's currently on that site? And when we say that site, we're talking about the site behind CVS, which is their yard they're using during the time of construction. So right now, any material that would be on that site would be from the fee of the road, being town property, correct?
No, they have piles of crushed stone and gravel and other stuff that they've had trucked in.
I think I have what the larger portion of the material there's about 6 or 7 piles, one being a raw material.
Yeah,
that's
there's
the
a big pile of raw material that they haven't processed or finished processing yet.
Yeah, then there's a pile of grindings. Then there's a small pile of processed gravel that would have been trucked in.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a main pile of what they've just recently crushed and processed.
Right.
And then there's 2 piles of stone that they just recently crushed. And that was last Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can tell the difference in the material, what's trucked in versus what's coming from that processing on site by the color of the material. What's being trucked in, which would be from Hilka or Lincoln, would be a very light white gray. Everything else is dirty and unwashed, and it has slight subsoil and topsoil mixed in, so it would make it just a little bit darker in color.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, once they start doing service laterals, that's no longer town property.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes, that's all on private property.
So now would be a difference between town property and moving forward, that would be private property. So my question is, would what's there not be part of town property versus moving forward would now become private property?
Peter, I think the original agreement said that any excess, and if they need it for lateral improvements, I think they would still have a right to it, wouldn't they?
I think that is exactly my question, Phil.
So I think as soon as I get the response from Kleinfelder, I'll share that with everybody, and we can try and determine what's happening with that material. Okay. I know there's still quite a bit of paving that they're going to be doing, and a lot of road edges that they're going to back up, which I believe is why they screen that material.
Peter, my understanding is if there is excess material, it has to be approved by the SOAR Commission. It can't just be removed, say, by the Highway Department or something like that. Is that correct?
I'm not sure on that. If it's, again, right now, the excess material has been going to the highway garage. Most of the excess material.
That's what
other than what Albanese wanted to bring to their staging yard to process for reuse.
Well, I guess that's a sub question to be answered then.
So again, once Chris McClure emailed Kleinfelder last week the same question, and I'm waiting to see what they get us for a response. Because again, I'm not there every day watching trucks come and go, and once I get their response, I'll be able to maybe ask a few follow-up questions that you brought up, Mr. Chair, and get you the answers that you're looking for.
Okay. I wanted to hear the opinion of other commissioners and how they felt about, I guess that is the question. And it probably leads a lot to interpretation of the actual agreement and saying, is there a difference between the main line, work done on the main line, and then the service laterals? Because one would be town property, one would be private property.
Yes, no, you can definitely differentiate that. I guess the question is if they took some of the excess material and had to incur the cost of processing it, I mean, other than just getting dumped over a banking at the highway department, I'm not sure what the other use would be that the town would want. And again, I think with all the additional paving that's going to need to be done, that pile of processed material is going to get used up rather quickly, backing up all the road edges.
Well, I understand that a certain amount of material is going to get used up backing up the road edges, but there's also going to be, you wouldn't use processed stone to back up road edges.
Yeah, the stone I don't know about, but the dark pile of, let's just call it gravel, like you said, that had all the topsoil and stuff mixed in, that big pile that they screened is definitely going to be used for road edges, I believe. But again,
I would say that's a great material for that process. Yeah. And, you know, I don't want to be asking the question later after it's all said and done. I would rather ask the question in advance and have a plan and everyone be on the same page prior to trying to go back and recreate history and say what left the site and what didn't and for what purposes. That's all. So
nope. Understood.
If you can follow up with the questions, Peter, that would be great. And then we'll have a better understanding moving forward.
All right, will do.
Does anyone have questions on the school loop or construction?
Yeah, I've got a question for Peter. Mugget Hill Road seems to be, it looks like it's going to be done in two different methods, two different ways. They've been digging it up, as you say, going down 8 or 10 inches. But from the Bay Path pump station down to Bond Road and even perhaps all the way to where they ended up before, they seem to be just milling the top 2 inches to replace only the surface. Are they doing that two different methods on the same road?
Yes, they are doing it two
What
different.
was more recently?
Correct.
The section path going down to the schools was paved, what, 8 or 10 years ago, Peter?
Possibly. All I know is that's the direction the highway superintendent asked them to go.
I think that's the history behind it, Paul. One was paved more recently and therefore had a good base to it. And okay. I think they're just trying to the top at this point in time, mill the surface and then repave the whole from shoulder to shoulder without pulverizing the road.
Right.
And that's what they worked out with Jerry, correct, Peter?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Paul?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I was just kind of curious as to why they're doing, you know, from one side of Bay Path one way and the other side of Bay Path a different method. I didn't know if it had anything to do with the hill and climbing it, big trucks in the winter and stuff like that, if you don't have a proper base. But if you say it was done more recently, then they do have a proper base and there's no need to dig it all up.
I think if you can remember back to the I would say Main Street side of Bay Path, you can remember how broken up that asphalt was and just how bad a disrepair that road was. But going down the hill after Bay Path, it was a lot smoother and in better shape.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hey, Peter, one question. Stevens Park Road, Peter, when are they starting that? Do you know?
Hopefully the last week of July. The contractor will be in there starting the drainage work.
All right.
So 2 weeks.
Okay.
Excellent. Is there any other business unknown at the time of posting?
Just a curiosity question from reading past minutes. Did we ever get the keys to the 169 pump station?
I'm sorry.
Peter,
The key
We had,
to the 169 pump station.
yeah. So in the past minutes, I was reading them over. There was a request for the keys to the 169 pump station, I guess from Southbridge. Did we ever
Yes.
get those?
No, not yet.
Okay, something we should request them again.
Okay.
And the only other thing we had discussed during the week, and you had mentioned that you didn't think it was a problem from old business, was letting people know about sump pumps in town, and you know, making sure that they're aware that they're not legal being attached to the water system, treatment system.
Yes, I talked to Sue about that, and we're going to work on adding that to our next billing so that that information will be on the bill the next time it goes out in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate that.
I did call Globe, and Globe said if we wanted to do an additional mailer in the bill, it's like 5 cents a copy.
Does anybody have problems with that?
not at all.
Thank you. And one last question, we had also talked about sending, and do we have a date when that 1 year starts on sewer connections for the people, and then they're on their own?
We're still waiting for the finalization of that main line, correct, Peter?
Yes, the 1 year will not start until that mainline school loop is active.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep track.
Again, there will be coordination with Kleinfelder and ExxonMobil, and we'll be sending mailings, and they'll be sending mailings, and hopefully coordinate it so that it's out there for everybody to know. It has not started yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up to speed on some things.
Yep.
Much appreciated. All right. If there's no other business, our next meeting is scheduled for August 3rd, 2020. And barring that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Cantwell second. Roll call vote.
Ridlack,
Aye.
Donahue,
Aye.
Gagner,
Aye.
Cantwell,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good
Bye.
talk to you.
Thank you. Good night.
Back to sewer,
Night.
guys.